Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And if you're new, hi, hi, hi. Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a while, and I feel at this point, whenever I come back, it's always been a while. So I should put that on a t-shirt for myself. It's been a while, but then that might mean something else. Anyway, today I'm back with a brand new video where I asked the real question. What the hell happened to Ed Sheeran? For those of you who live under a rock, Ed Sheeran is one of the most successful pop singer-songwriters ever and probably the most successful in the last 5 to 6 years. He grew up in Suffolk, England and moved to London in 2008 to study and pursue a career in music. Later in 2010 he moved to LA, where he was discovered by Jamie Foxx, the Hollywood actor. He went on to live in Jamie Foxx's house for some time, and there's a good story about it, which Jamie Foxx talks about in the Graham Norton show. I'll put a link in the description, you should definitely check it out. So basically he moved to LA with no contacts, no label, and no place to live. And in under a year he got signed and then went on to release his first studio album in 2011. I want to get something out in the open. I love Ed Sheeran. That being said, this video might offend some Cheerios, but please watch the entire video before you react. Before we move along to the focus point of this video, let's do a quick run of his discography. Ed Sheeran's first studio album, Plus, came out in 2011 and it was definitely his breakthrough album. With songs like Give Me Love, Small Bump, Kiss Me, and of course A-Team, this album went on to sell over 5 million copies worldwide. So his second studio album, Multiply, came out in 2014 and had this very cool rap, hip-hop inspired vibe to it. This was also the point where I was introduced to his music myself. I was sitting with a friend during one of our classes and he took my notebook and wrote Thinking Out Loud on it and then told me to check it out, and that's how I became a fan. The album was a huge success with hits like Photograph, Sing, Don't, and of course Thinking Out Loud. And of course, his third studio album, Divide, was released fairly recently in 2017, and it is his most successful album by far. The album also won the Grammy for the Best Pop Vocal Album of the Year. It had some great tracks in it to sing and perform with and tour with, which he eventually does in the Divide World Tour, which turns out to be the most successful music tour of all time. So after a year or so, when the songs from Divide finally settled in my head, I couldn't help but ignore the fact that these songs were made for commercial success. Of course, that doesn't mean that making money was the only thing that they had aimed at, but then you can tell that it was a big goal in their agenda. I gotta be honest though, I thoroughly enjoyed Divide, partly because I was waiting 3 years with no release from Ed Sheeran, so when it came out I was really excited. But when I look back now, I can see the dominoes falling. To me, this album sets the precedent for Ed Sheeran to go on and chase this very mainstream pop star idea of himself. Although there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what gave Ed Sheeran his mass appeal. Perfect was clearly another attempt to get wedding invites all over the world. Shape of You is the worst song that Ed Sheeran has ever written. And at the same time, I really love the likes of Galway Girl, New Man, and of course, Supermarket Flowers. His new music also suffers the lack of the deep, the meaningful, and the raw songwriting that existed in his previous work. And this was the very thing that a lot of musicians admired. Let me explain. The year is 2011. A-Team has just been released as the very first single for his debut studio album. Musically speaking, it's not that complex, it's quite simple, but then it complements the storytelling, which is the focus in this song. In this song, he talks about a prostitute who is addicted to cocaine, which is a class A drug, hence A-Team, and she struggles to survive in London. Let me read you the first paragraph from A-Team. White lips, pale face, breathing in the snowflakes, burnt lungs, sour taste. Lights gone, days end, struggling to pay rent. Long nights, strange men. The song is trying to make you feel about something that most people won't even notice in their lives, and you can tell that this guy knows how to write songs. Fast forward to January 2017, Shape of You has just come out. Well, when it came out, it left the fan in me a little dazed. On one hand, I was excited to hear a song after so long, and on the other hand, I didn't really like it. I mean, it's a pretty catchy song, to be honest, and I think it plays on Ed Sheeran's love for the loop station. And the songwriters here definitely knew what they were doing. I mean, the official video for Shape of You on YouTube itself has over 5 billion views. The song falls in the category of dance pop, and if you look at the booming dance music scene, this song just fits right in. The song talks about picking up someone in a bar because apparently the club isn't the best place to find a lover. I am in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too, I'm in love with your body. And last night you were in my room, and now my bed sheets smell like you. Now hear me out, it's a normal song, nothing to hate on in particular, and if this is the first Ed Sheeran song that you're listening to, you wouldn't mind it and you might even enjoy it a lot. But if you're like me who has followed his work for years prior to this album, I think you would agree when I say that it doesn't sound real. It is as if he's desperately trying to please a label or please the charts by making himself fit in this box of what they think he is. Okay, so Ed, you've had a couple of great years. Multiply was a huge hit. You are super famous, you are critic proof, and musicians and non-musicians respect you alike. Things couldn't be better. Ed, focus! It's been 3 years since your last song. Let's put out a strong single. You wanna let people know you are back. Ed Sheeran is back. Ed Sheeran is back and with a bang.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
What's more strange that it took 6 people to write Shape of You. 6 people. Seriously. Ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, I'm in love with your body? 6 people? 18 was written by Ed all alone when he was 18. I think it goes on to show how commercialized these big pop hits are. I mean, multiple songwriters getting involved in one single song to remove any imperfection and maximize profit and create something what I like to call a manufactured hit. The end result is this very unrelatable yet strangely catchy song. A few days back, I posted a story on my Instagram asking people what their favorite Ed Sheeran song is, and these are the responses I got. So most of the responses are songs that I've already mentioned in this video, or they are from the first 2 albums. Except the one friend who decided to send a link to this parody of Shape of You. So I was going through the recent Zayn Louis interview the other day, and I think there are a few things that are worth discussing about in the scope of this video. It's a great interview, by the way, and I'll put a link in the description. Go check it out. I think on some level, Ed already knows that Divide and subsequent work is not the kind of music that his fans actually like. Here's what he said.
I was trying to manage the record label's expectations. Divide and Multiply both sold about 20 million copies, and I was like, this is not that. My fans like listening to me for my music. They are not going to connect to this music. I'm making it because I like it.
He also mentions how the song Sing, the single for the Multiply album, also wasn't the biggest record, but as a single it did exactly what it was supposed to do, which is get people talking. He goes on to say that similarly when Shape of You came out, it wasn't that successful initially. But I beg to differ. The reaction to Sing was something like, alright, alright, alright. Shape of You, on the other hand, made people go, wait, what? Sing had this cool rap hip hop vibe, which is further exemplified in the album. It also aligns with the cool green album cover, scruffy face, bad boy Sheeran vibe of this entire album. His fragile singer-songwriter image in the Plus album had now evolved into this very confident and dangerous version of itself. The reason for Ed's initial popularity was his honest and relatable self. I mean, you could put yourself in the shoes of this guy. He was just a guy who loves music and loves to write, navigating through the struggles of his life and observing those around him and himself. His goal was never to make millions out of all this, and he was just happy to even get paid to play music. That was exactly the kind of purity that people found so fresh, especially in this oversaturated pop domain. From the interview, it seems like he recognizes all of this.
Because I never made music to play Wembley Stadium. I was so stoked to just get paid to play a pub. Like, that was when I found out you could get paid to play music, I was like, oh my God, this is like...
At one point, he says this.
You have to understand that to keep reinventing yourself, you have to every now and then throw out something you haven't done before, and this is a sound.
Well, as a fan, I'm on board with that. But I can't force myself to like a song just because it is from Ed Sheeran. And change is great, but in this case, it feels as though the artist is deliberately trying to remove everything that made him stand out in the first place. Take a look at the lyrics of South of the Border from his number 6 collaborations album. She got the brown eyes, caramel thighs, long hair, no wedding ring. Hey, I saw you looking from across the way, and now I really want to know your name. She got the white dress, but when she's wearing less, woohoo. Man, you know she drives me crazy. It's like... In all fairness, I did enjoy the music. I think it's great. It's fun. It's good to listen to. But then this is not the kind of Ed Sheeran writing that I grew up admiring or being inspired by. The overall reception on the recent number 6 collaborations album is sort of divided. Get it? Divide Ed. He goes on to mention how the collaborations album isn't part of his 5 studio album plan, and I'm hoping that once we have our 5th studio album by him, we'll have better music coming out. Bad Habits came out on 26th of last month, and it's a real Shape of You moment for me. But I want to give this song some time to redeem itself. The song and the lyrics are way better than Shape of You, but then I don't think I'm a fan of the music, because I feel I'm not a big dance music fan in general. If the rest of the album is coherent with this single song, then I might end up not having a good time listening to it. I just want to make it clear that I'm still a huge fan of Ed Sheeran's work. I think he's incredibly talented, hardworking, and honest individual, and he deserves all the success that he's had. It's not that I particularly hate the new stuff that he's released, but I am a little concerned about the direction that things are moving in. I'm waiting for songs that can inspire me, even if it is a rap-influenced track like Don't or Sing, or a romantic ballad like Thinking Out Loud, or a heartfelt slow song like A-Team. I want to have songs that inspire me to create better music. I think we would like to have songs that we can, play for our grandchildren someday and say, this artist was alive in our time. I think Ed Sheeran is a great example to portray the workings of this very commercial industry. The songs which are streamed more get pushed out more, and then in turn get more popular due to their popularity, creating this death loop for creativity where all freshness dies. And it certainly raises the question of whether all the artists that we love and hold dear will end up evolving in this sort of a way once they get more and more popular. Ed had this freshness in his music. He would often combine elements from hip-hop, rap, folk, and sometimes blues to create his own unique sound. I don't think there was anyone at the time who wrote songs and wrote melodies in the way that he did. So what the hell happened to Ed Sheeran? This is strictly my opinion. I think that his honest songwriting made him a huge star, and once he was a huge star, he had been trying to do what any other popular musician would do, and it's making him lose what made him popular in the very first place, which was the fact that he was the odd one out, the guy who didn't fit, the guy we loved. Because of that, I sincerely hope that the new album can change my mind. That's all for this video. Don't forget to give this a like if you enjoyed watching it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to watch more videos from me. Are you excited for the new Ed Sheeran album? Did you agree with everything I said in the video, or was there something you disagreed with? Do you think Ed Sheeran's music is not declining? Just, drop by in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.